Pretty good. First of all, it's not Colsefni, it's Colsefni.
Colsefni?
Yeah, an extra I has been put into my fake last name for a lot of years, and I'm not sure where that happened, but it's Colsefni.
Colsefni. I always figured it was Colsefni, and anybody that I talked to that's heard of you also said that, so, all right.
I know, it's weird.
I know. So you said your fake last name. What's your real name?
My real name is Andrew Rau, R-O-U-W.
All right.
But
so,
at the beginning of Slipknot, we thought it would be fun to play around with names, and I was the only one that actually came up with one and stuck with it.
Yeah, because all the stuff that I've read about you, you always went with Anders Colsefni.
Yeah, so. And, you know, people got to know that name while I was in Slipknot, so I figured, yeah, why not at least use that a little bit afterwards, try to at least get somebody to watch what I'm doing. So.
Right. All right, so you're from Iowa, right?
I am.
All right, since that's where Slipknot started, that would make sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started with the questions. Most of these will just be about your music career. So, all right, so how did Slipknot start? Like, how did you guys get together and start forming?
Well, I was doing the Body Pit thing, which was a death metal band with Paul and Donnie and a few other people. And Sean, I'd been friends with Sean for a while since we'd both been in the same little cruddy Des Moines music scene for quite a few years. He did his band, I did my band. We played a lot of shows together, so we're pretty close to the same age. And one time he called me up and wanted to know if I was interested in doing a photo shoot. And I was like, what? Yeah, this guy, photographer he knows needs somebody to be in a photo shoot for some little demonstration thing, and it needs to exemplify the word intolerance. And I had a mohawk, and this is probably, I was about 22, I believe, and so forth. So we went out there and did that, and I made some money for being photographed, making a mean face and all that. So Sean and I, through that, started talking about other things, and including starting up new bands, and the philosophy of Slipknot started forming while we were doing a bunch of welding projects in his garage, as well as different things like that, and playing role-playing games, too, that got it fueled up also. Right. And we just started calling people and seeing if anybody wanted to start something up, and slowly but surely, we put together the band.
Right. You mentioned Paul earlier. Do you mind if I ask a few questions about him a little later?
Not at all.
All right. I just didn't want to get into anything you didn't want to, or you know.
I appreciate it. No, that's cool.
All right. So, did you guys go by any other names before you went with Slipknot?
No. Well, we fiddled around with some, but every band that comes up with a name fiddles around with it a little bit. I mean, we toyed with the word meld, but it just doesn't roll off the tongue very nicely. So that was actually the name of a Body Pit song.
Huh.
And we ended up going with Slipknot. Just it had a ring to it, 2 syllables. A lot of people immediately brought up the image of a noose, but it was actually the opposite of a noose. And it was hard to put your finger on. You didn't see that name Slipknot and immediately assume it was some metal band. It could have been anything. And we were all coming from metal bands where we would have these logos with as many spikes and points in it as possible and hardest to read.
Right.
But, yeah.
Right. So, whenever I look around into some old stuff before MFKR, which I'll ask some questions about later, obviously, there's this point of time where most people call it the basement sessions. Have you heard of that?
That was actually the beginning of Slipknot before we knew what we were doing. That was sort of a little jam session sort of thing that we did while Body Pit was still functioning. And we just got together, and Sean brought his drum set over in his little laundry room in Paul's basement, and one of his buddies that was with his old band, not in the band, but part, like, roadie, I guess you'd call it, Pat. He had a guitar, came over. We didn't know what we were going to write. We just started jamming some stuff. I surely didn't know what I was planning on doing vocal-wise whatsoever. I just knew I didn't want to do death metal because I was already doing that. And so that was just some fiddling around in the basement, and the band didn't actually start until about 2 years after that little thing was recorded, because Paul had moved away. Sean was too busy to continue doing it, and after a couple of years, then we started hanging out, and he was talking to me about doing it again, and I called Paul out in L.A., and he's like, man, I'll come back and do it, but Sean's got to, stick with it. We're not going to get started and then have him quit again. So we did, and there it was. And the basement sessions is not worth listening to.
I listened to it once or twice just because I find some of the conversations that you guys have were kind of funny. Along with a lot of the instrumental was pretty cool too. I thought that was interesting. So
yeah, the song Gently started in that session, and that was something actually that Sean and Pat had done a little bit on their own before we even got together. Came up with this droning sort of drum beat sort of thing that everybody zoned out on, and we just put it to music.
Yeah, Gently. That's a good song right there. All right, so let's move into MFKR. So where did you guys come up with the name, first of all?
Joey came up with that just because he was a demented little turd. He sat there and came up with mate dot feed dot kill dot repeat dot, and it just made perfect sense because we were very, I don't know, like cavemen, what we felt like.
Mm-hmm.
It fit the album really good. It fit our personalities and our moods. Everything's stripped down. As elaborate as the band ended up becoming, we started out with a very stripped down sort of way of looking at things.
Right. So, did you base any of the songs on the NFKR, like from the songs that you guys may have recorded during the basement sessions, aside from Gently?
The song Slipknot, which became Sick, that was in there, and I think one of those songs turned into maybe Eeyore or something. That was a song that was written after I left the band.
Right.
But we spent so little time on those basement session songs. The other ones, like Idiot and whatever else there was, Wise Up, I think.
Wise Up, What's Wrong. I actually have it on my iPod. Let me take a look. I actually do. I pride myself in having all the stuff from Slipknot right on my iPod.
Oh, funny.
I'm a huge fan. Hold on. There it is, the basement sessions. The stuff is Gently, the Genesis track, Slipknot early version, Idiot extended version. Then there's Gently, Slipknot, Idiot, What's Wrong, and Wise Up, part 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't remember most of that stuff, so really the only things that went on to be anything were Slipknot and Gently, obviously.
Right.
I don't know about the other ones. I know that the guys have cut up riffs from old songs that were never actually released quite a few times, and
right.
recycled all sorts of stuff, and I haven't kept track of all of that.
Yeah. Do you still listen to them? Like, do you listen to any of their new stuff?
Not really.
Not really?
I honestly haven't really listened to them since I left the band. It's just been kind of weird, but...
Right. I can see how that would be a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like Corey. I just don't want to listen to him singing, in something that I helped create. It's just,
yeah.
You can call that being whatever, but it's unfortunately just the way that it's in my head. I'm not really a huge fan of the music anymore. My tastes in music have changed. They've kind of, I can't really put my finger on it, but I don't listen to an abundance of metal anymore. I listen to a wide variety of stuff. Now, that's not the style that I like to sing. I like to sing and play metal for the most part because it's fun. But I don't listen to a lot of really heavy stuff at the moment. I might be going through a phase, but
Yeah.
So Slipknot's kind of in with it.
Right. All right. So MFKR was a really, really how do I say, like, small project. Like, how many CDs were released?
Oh, about 1,000, I think.
Right. And did you pay for most of that? Did you guys pay for that, like, yourselves, or?
Oh, yeah. Everything on that was paid for out of the pocket. It was expensive, too.
Right. So, some of the songs on there, what did you base the lyrics on some of the songs on MFKR?
A good portion of that album was about the role-playing games, the Werewolf, the Apocalypse, and Vampire the Masquerade that we were doing down in my basement from time to time. It was very enthralling, and the game itself is a story. And I always liked to write my lyrics to be stories. I didn't want them to just be mouthy gibberish. And, I'd progressed. By progressed, I'd gotten older and had gotten sick of just writing songs about being pissed off and wanting to beat people up. And, the angst and all that stuff. Once I got past all that, I actually wanted to tell stories of whatever variety. And so I started doing that around that time.
Right.
A few of the songs lyrically were written by other guys in the band. Sean wrote gently. We collaborated on a couple of songs. And let's see. Yeah.
Right. So, were there some songs that you guys recorded that didn't make it onto MFKR? Or?
Oh yeah, there were a handful. I don't remember all of them. I don't think, but one of them was called "Part of Me." It was another overly abundant rap part song where Sean and I went back and forth, and Sean's got no sense of rhythm when it comes to verbal things. He's a drummer. He's a good drummer.
Right.
He's very, very white when it comes to his rapping. He's got no syncopation or anything, and at least didn't back then. So it sounded very robotic.
Really?
And, not like I was the king rapper, for God's sake, but...
only one was a good rap. That was good.
That stuff, I don't know, I find that kind of silly nowadays, because I did the rap stuff because I didn't know what else to do at that point.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
So we did it, and, we were into rap back then, to a certain extent. I was into Cypress Hill and House of Pain and Public Enemy and some stuff like that. And
right.
Why not? Mix it all in there. But Wave Like the Pope was a ska song we did, which was just stupid, so it didn't go on the album.
Right.
Fur, the song Fur was just brutal. It was just really short, and it was really... Sean and I just beat on our drums, just boom, 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 boom. And then Paul would come in with this bass line, and then all the guitars would kick in, and me and Paul would just growl at the top of our lungs, "I am fur covered in blood," which was the name of one of the role-playing characters, Fur Covered in Blood. And we just bellow that out like crazy. Well, there wasn't enough substance to the song to make it worth putting on the album. So we didn't put that on. You
wouldn't happen to... Oh, go ahead.
Well, there's a number of other songs.
Right.
I can talk your ear off, man, so...
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind. I'm enjoying this. It's pretty fun. You wouldn't happen to have any copies of those songs anywhere, would you? Or you looking through stuff, or...
I'm still trying to find those.
Right.
To be honest with you. I I don't have any more recordings of those. I do have some nice little recordings that I don't believe anybody else does have. And I mean worldwide. I think I might have the only copy of these two songs, other than people in Slipknot.
True.
So I will be putting those up on my website at some point for, not for download, but to listen to for free.
Right.
So, I'm not telling anybody what they are yet either.
All right. It's respectable. So what songs were on MFKR? Do you remember that, or all of them?
What songs were on it?
Yes.
Slipknot, Gently, Do Nothing, Slash, Bitch Slap, Confessions, Only One, Some Feel, Killers Are Quiet. I always miss one somewhere. Maybe I got them all.
You got them all. Yeah.
Dogfish Rising was the hidden track.
I do have to, sorry, but I do have to remind you that this is for a school radio station, so do not curse.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. I can edit that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can edit that out. That's fine. So, which is your favorite song on there?
Killers Are Quiet.
Right. No, why is that?
Just because the mood of the song. And when we recorded it, it was, it's a long song, and it's very moody, and as slow as it is, it's usually hard to keep tempo up when everything is slow and kind of goes like that song does. And they were in the studio, Sean McNair was trying to get us to do it to a click track in headphones. So you got the tempo constantly clicking in your head while you're trying to do this smooth, rolling, crazy, weird, warpy song, and it wasn't working out. And so we told them we're just going to free record this, no click track. And one take, we had the thing done. All the drums, one take. And Sean and Joey and I were all playing our drum parts at the exact same time, and Paul was playing his bass line in the other room. And then the guitars came in for scratch tracks, and we got the thing nailed down in one take, and it was just amazing. It was a zone that I'd never been in before, just for mood lighting in that room when we were recording. It was cool. So that song is my favorite song, and it, to me, represented a transformation, so to speak, which is kind of what the song is about.
Right. So during this time, during the recording of MFKR, who was in the band? Do you remember all the people that were in there at the time?
Yeah. Well, Sean and Paul, obviously, myself.
No, you weren't in the band. No way.
Sort of.
I'm joking.
Steele, and Craig Jones.
Right. So there were a couple of people that I read about that were in the band. I forget most of their names. I think one of them wore a baby mask. I forgot his name.
That was after I left. That was either Greg Welch or Brandon Donner.
I think it was Greg, because his nickname was Cuddles, or something like that.
He's actually the guy that tattooed the original Slipknot S onto my leg before it was actually affiliated with Slipknot. And he was a local tattoo guy that was a friend of ours.
Right. So, where was the first place that you guys performed live?
We played at a club for it was a spontaneous little thrown together show by the recording studio guys at a local club that's no longer there. That's where we were tagged with the name Meld for the show, since we didn't have the name figured out yet, but we'd been recording an album already without having played a show. So we got all the instruments recorded, and then it was just left for vocals and whatnot. They said, "You want to play a show? Play 4 or 5 songs." Okay, so we hauled all of our stuff down there and did it, and that was that. It was really short. It was kind of weird. It wasn't very well put together. But our first real show that we set up and played at the Safari Club was April 4th of 1995, and that was a little club called Safari, which ended up turning into Harry Mary's, and now is a Irish bar that you have to have a college ID to get into.
Right. You wouldn't remember the songs that you played at the Safari Club the first time, would you?
Oh, no. Pretty much the Made Feet Kill Repeat CD. Because that's all we had really written at that time, other than, plus maybe Visqueen and Fur and some of the other stuff.
Right. So, near the, I'm trying to figure out how to put this, or I'm trying to figure out how to ask. So, weren't Slipknot and Stone Sour in a Battle of the Bands?
Yes.
And you guys won that.
Yes, we did.
So, Stone Sour is obviously where Corey Taylor came from, or that's where you guys heard of him. So, that's that. When did you guys start wearing masks? That's something I forgot to ask.
Well, Sean and I started right from the get-go, pretty much, when we were getting ready to play shows. I helped him move one day, or clean out his basement, because he was going to be moving, and he was going through some old crap, and he found that clown mask, and he put it on. I'm like, dude, your, like, size and everything, that's just creepy as hell. Hey, you need to wear that to practice next time. So he did. And while he was down there, he found this fur thing that it was like a stole. It was mink, a bunch of minks that were sewn together in a little thing. I think his old great aunt used to wear around her shoulders or something. And I looked at it and I go, "Do you want that?" I said, "No, you can have it." So I turned that into a thing I wore around my waist. And so the first show, I wrapped my face up in electrical tape, and he wore his clown mask. We didn't really go much more elaborate than that. I did have the little skirt thing with the fur going on, but everybody else just pretty much just wore the regular clothes. And after that first show, Joey's like, "Listen, this isn't going to be the Andy and Sean show, so if you guys are going to wear masks, the rest of us are going to wear masks."
Right.
So everybody kind of figured out their own little thing. Paul was the only one that didn't know what to get, so somebody picked him up a little pig's mask, so that's kind of how he got started.
Right. And that pig mask, I see this guy on YouTube I'm subscribed to who sells like masks, and he's another big Slipknot fan. I actually met him on a really small forum dedicated to the band, like from the Basement Sessions all the way to All Hope Is Gone. And he converts pig masks into ones that Paul Gray wore. So he actually sells them too. So if I had money, I would buy that. But let's move on in the Slipknot era. Let's go into Crows. Or what is Crows? Could you just give me a big?
I've been trying to clear this up. Crows was a title that fans placed on the songs that were written and recorded after Mate Feed Kill Repeat for the record company. We were trying to get signed, so we went back in the studio. Roadrunner liked Mate Feed Kill Repeat, but they wanted to hear some more songs. They wanted to have some stability because MFKR was so all over the map to a certain extent. They wanted some cohesion, and so we started writing some more songs that were a little bit more along the lines of what we were wanting to do and what we were evolving into. They were never intended to be released to the public. They were just okay, we got to record some more songs for the record label so we can get a record deal.
Right.
You know, that's what those were. And some of those have been reworked and released, and some of them have had parts taken from them and whatnot. Some of them have my vocals on them. Some of them were re-recorded with Corey's vocals. And that's what people call crows. It was just those mess of songs that were never on any particular album.
Right. And you said that some of them were reworked, and I think the most notable of that was Carve was turned into Before I Forget. Yeah. So wasn't there like a story? I read somewhere that you and Paul were driving around and came across a road full of crows, or
Yeah. I was actually taking him back to his place, and it was around this time of year, and it was at night, and I went around this turn, and my headlights passed over the street and the yards in front of me, and the place was just nothing but crows everywhere. We were to the point where I was kind of nervous to drive down the street. I thought that, going to be running over all these birds and all that, but they all just went straight up in the air, and like, dude, that was just freaky. So we told the other guys about it, and then Joey just starts going, crows. And so that just became an inside joke. That right there.
Wow.
It's such a small thing.
Right.
Joey and Sean really like putting Z's at the end of words that should have S's, so they started doing stuff like that, and then it would catch on, and people would start doing it.
Right. So also, I think for this part of the Slipknot questions, I guess I'm just going to be a bit more sporadic instead of straightforward. Just bear with me on that. So sure. I read somewhere that Sean had a jar with a crow in it, or something like that.
Yep, he did. He put one in a pickle jar and kept it until it turned to mush.
Ew.
And yeah, a couple of us were really concerned that he was going to do something stupid like smash it on stage or something at some point. He didn't, but he would try to get people to smell the jar, and oh, gross.
Yes, that sounds like it. So, when did Corey actually enter the band?
He entered the band while I was on a weekend vacation with my family, and I come back, and then they tell me, hey, guess what?
Ooh.
Yeah, they didn't talk to me about it or anything.
How did you feel about that?
No, I quit the band.
Well,
I gave it 2 months worth of giving it the good old college try, but I couldn't get past the feeling that I was just betrayed by my friends, and so it was nothing I could do but get out of their way so they could continue without me, because I was just not in a positive frame of mind for it anymore, and all the love that I had for what we were doing disappeared really quick.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. And nowadays, older and wiser, even if I didn't know where it was going, I can rationalize through those things nowadays. But back then, I was not in the frame of mind to accept that. I was just demoted from the band that I helped create, and then spent 3 years keeping my children up at night while they're trying to sleep, practicing in the basement, and things like that. I don't harbor any resentment at all or anything. That was just me being young and not being able to put things in perspective. But the fact is that my friends didn't talk to me about it ahead of time. Kind of alienated me. So I felt like the outsider in my own band. There was nothing I could do but leave.
Right.
And I can't say that the band would have continued on and did what they did if I had still been in the band. Who knows? One of them causality things.
Right.
So I don't know the exact date that he joined, but because that area is kind of a big blur for me. I believe it was in May, I think, April or May,
right?
Perhaps. So.
Yeah, that sucks. That's an understatement. So.
Yeah, it's a cutthroat world.
Yeah. But so back to like the songs from the tracks that were leaked from the Crows era. Corey is the vocalist. I actually have the songs on my iPod, like I said. But Corey's the vocalist for most of them, and I think some of them were like leaked tracks of like live shows where you were on vocals and all that. What songs did you record in that time using your vocals?
Well, I'd recorded all of them, but while I was gone, Corey came in and recorded over a bunch of them with his vocals.
Right.
So that the band could decide who they wanted to have sing. I have Windows and the Me Inside, Lust, Disease, and Nature.
You have those
that I sang on, yeah. I've been looking for some other ones. I didn't know if any other versions that had me on it were still out there, but I'm pretty sure I've got what wasn't gone over.
Right. What's available?
Yeah. I might have a prosthetics out there. I'm still looking for it.
Oh, you did a version of Prosthetics.
Yeah, I did the first version of that.
Whoa.
That was the last song I actually recorded with them.
That's interesting. Prosthetics is a messed up song.
Yeah. I don't remember what I used to do on it.
If you ever find that, that'd be a cool thing to put up for people.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And the Me Inside, I actually have that. That's one of the songs that were leaked. It's pretty good. Then
I've got Pain Face going again, and we're going to do a cover of the Me Inside.
Dude, that's freaking cool, man.
First band since Slipknot that I've been in that has been comfortable doing a cover of a Slipknot song.
Because I know that they did go and redo Me Inside on Slipknot versus, why did I say? Slipknot featuring Slipknot, which is different lyrics, faster, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Windows, people have been looking for that for years. Like, from the people that I've talked to, people have been wanting to hear the studio version of that for a while.
I don't have the studio version.
Oh. I thought that's what you meant.
No, it's not. That's not what I got.
What?
I am looking. I think that everything else has been recorded over. I believe all I have now is just my. Actually, I'm getting on my computer. I'm double checking here.
All right. So the other songs you mentioned, Lust Disease. I forget the other one you said. Are those studio versions or live?
Yes, those are studio.
You going to be posting that on your website eventually?
Yes.
Sweet.
Let's see here. I've got Carve.
All right, Carve. That's another one.
Yeah, my version of that. You want to hear what Lust Disease sounds like?
That'd be pretty cool.
If I can get it to play.
pretty cool.
Could you hear any of that?
I could hear some of it. It cut out every once in a while, but for the parts I heard, it sounds pretty cool.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It sounds really good, though.
Yeah.
Anyway. I do... Ooh, wait a minute. No, I do have prosthetics, the studio version of me.
You do have prosthetics?
I do have it, yeah. I am so unorganized with all my stuff.
Dude, I gotta hear that prosthetics version. I'll probably ask about that later. But man, prosthetics is a great song either way. Did another song that people rumor that you recorded during the Crows era, "Wait and Bleed"? Did you do a version of that?
No.
No.
Nope.
Because
I think no. "Spit It Out" was Interloper.
"Spit It Out" was Interloper?
Yeah, Interloper was one of the last songs that we were working on. Once Corey came into the band, and he was taking over my vocal part, so he's trying to figure out what I was doing and learn all that stuff. And I think after I quit, they just took it and turned it into... No, not "Wait and Bleed." I'm sorry. I'm getting things all screwed up. "Spit It Out," "Wait and Bleed," no. They didn't write that while I was in the band at all. So. Yeah,
they in the self-titled, they turned Interloper. I think it's a song called, hold on, let me look. I think it's Despair or something like that. Look, you have my iPod on me. It's a song called Deluded. That's what they turned it into.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So... what? Trying to think if I can ask any more questions about Crows. Did you do any like? What were the shows like with you and Corey? Did you take turns doing vocals or?
Oh no, I was pretty much 95% him with me, kind of doing some screaming and growling in the background. So it wasn't fulfilling to me at all anymore. It was just an unpaid job. So to speak.
Man, that sucks. Do you have a studio version of "Heartache and a Pair of Scissors" anywhere?
Let me look. I think I might.
Because I know they had they redid it just called "Scissors," which is another screwed up song.
I've got a live version of that.
Right, I've heard the live version.
Yeah.
Because I listened to that, and I listened to "Scissors" once or twice before I came across the Crows songs, and then I listened to the live version of "Heartache and a Pair of Scissors." I'm like, wait a minute, these sound the same.
Yeah. That they kept that all the same because Joey actually wrote those lyrics.
Yeah, that's what I read too. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to ask a few questions about Paul. I only have a few. I typed these out a couple weeks ago, and then my stupid jump drive deleted the whole thing, so I had to go and rewrite it. But where were you when you heard of Paul passing away?
I was at work, actually.
Right.
At my job, and Aaron Peltz, who was good friends with Chris Fain. Chris was Aaron Peltz's drummer for a long time. Aaron also was the singer in On a Pale Horse, and he was the manager for Painface, and he was the singer for Dead Front, and he was the singer for Down the Sun. Aaron's been all over the place, and he was the one that called me to tell me about it. He's the only one of those guys that thought that, hey, you know what? Maybe Andy needs to know about this, since he and Paul were like really, really good friends.
Right. Like none of the other members called you later, or?
Corey did.
Corey. I would have thought that Sean or maybe.
No. Corey kept telling me he's going to have Sean call me, and Sean never did.
Right. Man.
So
how hard did that hit you, the news of Paul? Or
Oh, it's still hitting me.
Right.
I haven't fully released any of this yet. I'm just, I missed the funeral because they were keeping everything hush-hush until the last minute, and I'd left my cell phone somewhere, and by the time I retrieved it, the funeral was over by 4 hours.
Did you ever go to his gravesite, or did they bury him, or?
No, he was cremated.
Oh, I thought he was buried. Because a couple.
I think he was cremated.
Because I heard a couple of months ago, I went onto one of the fan sites. I think it was opiumofthepeople.net, which is a Slipknot fan site, and they said that Paul's memorial site, or wherever they put it, was robbed. Like they stole a golden Buddha statue or something like that.
Huh.
I don't know, was Paul Buddhist?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know. I heard he stole something. I think that's what it was, but I may be mistaken.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that.
Right. So, do you keep in contact with his family, or did you talk to them after he passed?
No, I haven't talked to any of them yet. I'm just trying to work myself back into that group of people so I can. I never had met his wife. And,
oh, you didn't? Did you talk to any of the other members of Slipknot?
No.
Besides Corey?
No.
Did you? Right. Yeah, I don't know. I heard Donnie came back in to fill in for Paul, or as a bass player. I don't know if that's still going on or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. They're writing some music.
Huh.
I believe Joey and Donnie are doing some incredible writing at the moment. So I'm sure that's going to be just fine.
Right. All right. So let's move on to Pain Face. So this is when you guys first formed after you left Slipknot. When did you guys form? Like the original?
Oh, about a year after I quit Slipknot. So in the winter months of '98. So beginning in '98, I believe.
Right. Who was in the band?
It was Jerry Sparger, Nick Bullock on drums, and a couple. Well, let's see, who was that? I'm going to forget some names here. Well, we had a bass player and guitar player that ended up leaving the band because of their own personal reasons. So we ended up moving our practice place somewhere else. We ended up actually. Jerry and I were the only guys that were in the band at the beginning right there. And we got a new drummer, bass player, and second guitar player all over in my basement.
Right.
Just a matter of a couple months later. And, just started plugging away and writing songs.
Right. So what all did you release? I think I read about demo, like you did a demo, and also, of course, Fleshcraft.
Yeah. The demo was On a Pale Horse, the song, The New Sun, Polymer, and Sunflowers. And when we got the funds together and got everything organized to go do a full album with a full lineup of songs, we decided we wanted to keep The New Sun and Polymer put on the new album,
right?
Because we liked them so much, and we didn't want them to slip by unnoticed on a 4-song demo when they should be on a full album. So, then we released the entire Fleshcraft album, all 10 songs of those, and we recorded a few other songs just for demo purposes for ourselves, and we never really released them, but they're out there.
Right. How did you come up with the name Fleshcraft for the CD?
I used to be a cutter. I used to cut on myself during shows, and I called that Fleshcraft.
Interesting. Hey, hold on a second. Somebody's outside the studio. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my friends were out there. My mom was calling them to find out where I was. I don't think she expected me to stay after this long. So that'll be fine, though. So that's how you came up with the name for Fleshcraft. How did you... one of the questions I forgot to ask earlier was, how did you come up with the name for Painface?
I don't know, really. I don't remember the actual moment it came to me, but somebody said to me after a body pitch show or something that I looked like my face is just in pain when I'm singing on stage, and I think I just put that together as Painface.
Right. I don't know if this was Painface or not, but the On a Pale Horse EP, was that Painface or a different band?
That was, that would be Painface, but we didn't actually have a title for it. It was just a 4-song demo. And On a Pale Horse was the first song on the CD.
Right. Because I was reading somewhere that maybe it was for a different band, I don't know, but there was a song called Lust on it.
Lust was another Painface song.
Lust. Was that based off Lust Disease?
Yeah. Same lyrics.
Was the On a Pale Horse, was that based off the image in the Book of Revelations, the death on a pale horse?
Originally, the song and the lyrics was about the comic book based on that.
Right.
Which was about death, dying, and handing over his job to the next soul or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact premise of it. It's been a while, but that's what it was written about originally, about taking over the job of Reaper of Souls.
Right.
But, that that story itself was taken from the Book of Revelation. So.
True.
I guess in an offhand way, then the answer would be yes.
Okay. So earlier you talked about the new Sun, the song. When I listen to it, I kind of hear resemblance to Carve and Before I Forget. Was the guitar riffs based on Carve?
No, I don't believe so. We didn't have any recordings of songs like Carve back then, so the guys who wrote the riffs in Painface most likely didn't have those to listen to,
Right. It's just that, when I listen to it, it sounds remarkably like it, and I don't know, just a thing I noticed. So, why did Painface split up at first, and why?
Well, Painface, we were kind of stagnating. We kept going through different members, different drummers, different guitar players. It was kind of getting to be a headache, which is usually causes the death of most bands around here. Is band member problems between each other and people leaving, and oh great, where are you going to find another drummer right now? So someone in the band said, Andy, why don't you go talk to Sean, see if he can help us out, use some of his pull, and I didn't want the band to be involved with Slipknot like that just because I wanted the band to get somewhere on its own merit, but finally I did, and Sean came in, listened to the songs, and he made his suggestions, and his suggestion was change the band name, change the band style, change some members around, and go for On a Pale Horse. That's what happened at that point. So Painface didn't really break up. They just turned into a different band.
Right. That's where I was getting the On a Pale Horse. Okay. So that's... Alright. So the next band I'm going to ask you about is Vice Grip Throttle. I don't know very much about the band. I don't think I've listened to much of it either. So I'll ask you some stuff, and then you can just tell me anything else you want me to know.
Okay.
Alright, so I assume that the band formed in Iowa. Makes sense. When did you guys form?
Well, the band itself was around before I joined it. It was called Fuzz Hog, and it had gone through quite a few member changes too. So I got a phone call from Ed Henry, a guitar player who knew that I'd been out of On a Pale Horse for a year or so, and wanted to know if I wanted to come jam with him. And I believe that was in 2004. 2004, 2005, right around there.
Right.
Yeah, 2005. So, started driving out to the farmhouse where we were practicing, where the guitar player and drummer, who were brothers, lived with their folks out in the farmland, and we haul ass clear all the way up there. Hour to get there, hour to get back. Hot farmhouse, just making sweaty, stinky stoner rock sort of music with heavier tones to it, but nothing ultra aggressive. It is more of a feel sort of a thing. And then we were playing a show already 2 months later at the place, one of the farmhouses that the movie Twister was filmed at. They had a festival out there with tattoo guys and bands and all sorts of stuff. It was kind of funny.
Right.
That band actually is one of the funnest bands I've ever been in, and some of the recordings are my most proud recordings I've ever done was in Vice Grip Throttle.
Right. So how long did the band last, or how long were you in it, or?
From 2005 to, it lasted 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4?
We gave it a good effort, and, lineup changes regularly, and I got Sean involved for a little bit also.
Right.
I think he got too busy to actually be of any help, so we released a couple things on our own.
Right.
And,
so,
it petered out because it was just not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We had opportunities, and then things didn't work out, and same old, same old.
Yeah. How many CDs and other stuff did you release with Vice Grip?
We released one 8-song full-length CD, and then I have a 5-song demo that we did afterwards, which is my favorite thing I've ever done. That is sort of released on my own website.
Right.
We're making hard copies of it. It's a digital download situation.
Uh-huh.
But I need to look into actually making up physical copies of it if people want those.
Right.
I'll be trying to do that with all of my catalog that I am legally able to distribute on my own.
Right, so MFKR ain't on that list, or?
No, that will probably be put on my website for a free stream, maybe even a free download.
Right.
I can't. I'm not going to ask for any money from any of that stuff.
Right.
I'm not going to go toe to toe with Roadrunner.
Right. I can understand that.
Plus, it's already out there.
This is true. Except I actually was trying to look for a copy. It's $700. People are asking for it.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Although if I had $700, I might think about it. Do you still have a copy? Or? No.
I sold all mine.
For $700?
No, 360 is what one of them sold for.
Nice.
And sold for over 200.
Hmm.
I only had a few copies of them.
Right.
I still have a master copy though from the studio video. I just don't have any artwork or anything with it anymore.
Right. So, back to Vice Grip. I listened to a few songs, like on your website, and it seemed like your death growls or vocals seemed a bit more high-pitched, more, what's it called? Had more range than it sounded when you were in Slipknot or Painface. Did you improve on your vocals, or did you just want to try something new?
I hope so. I've been working like crazy over the last 10, 12 years to try to be able to scream, growl, hardcore vocals, and sing cleanly all within the same song.
Right.
If the song calls for it. That's something that I am shooting for. So I've been trying to progress every area of my vocal capability. Now, it's been said the adult male singing voice doesn't fully mature until mid to upper 30s, so that could have something to do with it also.
That's interesting.
See,
I'm also working on that. See, I can't sing extremely well, but I can do the death vocals and screams pretty well. I'm working on higher pitch stuff at the moment, and I've actually gone through, what song was it? I think it was actually a Slipknot on MFKR, and I've growled to that, and my friends say I do pretty well at it. I'm actually trying to start a band. So,
cool.
You got any, no, I'll ask that later.
I used to do exactly what you were doing to Sepultura songs. Back with Max Blair still in the band. And I remember saying, Paul, I think I can growl deeper than Max now. And he's like, who can't? I'm like, oh, man.
Wow. Yeah, I actually have a friend that is into that stuff, like, really, he does really high-pitched, and I do really, really low. And me and him just have, like, screaming battles at each other, and laugh about it. Yeah. Anyway. So, a couple more questions before I go into the new era of Painface. I was on your Facebook page, and you said that you and your son are doing some music stuff?
Yeah, we haven't really been very active in it recently, just things have been too busy, but we were in All That Crawls together, which was basically Vice Grip Throttle with a couple member changes and different songs. And Josh joined that band, and we recorded one song, and we're going to be releasing a video for it at the end of this month. It's called The Endless, and it was recorded with the full band, except for there's no drums on it. It's just acoustic. And there's little still shots and so forth up on my Facebook All That Crawls page from the video shoot. And actually Stubbs, who's Corey Taylor's web designer and or webmaster anyway, and photographer, shot the video footage and all the still shots and everything. And my webmaster is editing it, so it's kind of funny.
Right.
These two webmasters for two singers from Slipknot are collaborating on a video for me.
Yeah.
But it's going to be dedicated to Paul, the memory of Paul, and
right.
That will be up on my website.
Yeah.
I believe the end of the month.
Right. All right. Now on to, I don't have very many questions about Painface right now, because I don't think I've seen you release too much about it yet, except for like a demo of a song. Let me see if I can pronounce it. Tlacoan, or something like that.
Tlacoan.
Tlacoan. That was close.
I believe so.
Right. So, on your Facebook page, you did mention that you reformed Painface. What do you plan on doing with the band? Like, I assume you guys are doing a new album.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what that's called yet, or?
No. We're a little bit behind schedule because we had to leave our practice place. The city decided to buy the building and turn it into a new police headquarters, so we're shoved out into the cold and having to stuff our equipment in the storage for a little bit while we look for another place. And that's not an overnight thing. It's been a couple of months that we've been without practicing or doing anything except for what we've got on our computers. I've got a whole bunch of songs that we're working on that I'm playing around with vocals on and so forth, and we're doing recording in our own studios and on our own computers. So right now, at least for the demo part of it, it's been slow, but we got a new practice place. We're fixing it up right now. We're going to be back in there next week, and we're going to play our first show the last Friday of January. In Des Moines at Vaudeville Muse.
Oh, sweet.
And then we are slating the album to be released sometime this coming spring, hopefully.
Sweet. Actually, a question just popped into my head. I know, don't you love those? But
I do.
I know, right? I forget his name, but when I was reading about MFKR, I think it was Sean McMahon or something like that helped you guys record it.
He was the engineer.
Oh.
He was the engineer/producer.
Right. I was gonna say, I thought he was the one that gave you a studio and all that to record everything. I was thinking, ask him to try and get a studio to record everything.
Oh well, we've got the studio all taken care of. I've got a number of friends that can record. I think we're gonna record our own album in our own studio with our own equipment because other guys in the band have done that before, and it sounds great. And they've got the ability and the equipment, and we can take our time with it and so forth. But Mike Lawyer owned SR Audio, the studio that Slipknot recorded in, and he died about 5 or 6 years ago. Sean McMahon, he'd moved, I think, back to Wisconsin or something a long time ago. I haven't any idea what happened to him since.
Right. I had a question in my head, then I just lost it. I hate those.
Because the other one replaced it.
This is true. Trying to think. What? Besides that, Talokan, is that what you said it was?
Yeah, Locan. It's one of the. It's part of the underworld for the religion of Santeria.
Right. So.
I've got a couple of different clips up there right now. We'll be putting some more clips up as we get some more things demoed out.
Right.
But it's going to be pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a stage show and everything for our live shows, and
it's
going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
Right. Well, do you have any other songs that you guys have been recording, or names for them, or are they just work in progresses?
Everything's a work in progress at this stage. I can't say that anything we've done now will end up on the album.
True.
Because everything changes. But we got a song called Gunslinger, Dark World's Burning, Behold the Dead,
nice.
My Ghost,
nice,
and a bunch of stuff that has different names on them that haven't been written yet. So
right.
We've got a number of things going on, and for live performances, we're also going to be doing a couple old Painface songs too.
True.
But we're really happy with what we've been writing. I'm especially happy because it's been a while since I've done this style of music. Vice Grip Throttle and All That Crawls and On a Pale Horse was so dramatically different that this was kind of refreshing to me to be back doing the old stuff that we used to do.
Yeah.
With a modernized flair to it.
Yeah. Actually, do you plan on remaking some of the old Painface songs? I'd be psyched to hear a new version of The New Sun. That's my favorite song off Fleshcraft.
Well, probably not. And here's why. We've already recorded that twice.
Right.
And I don't want to be stepping on the toes of the guys who wrote the song.
True.
Who are not in Painface anymore.
Right.
So,
yeah, I was just...
we probably won't record anything that we've already recorded before.
Right, I was just asking. A couple of weeks ago, this was the question I was going to ask earlier, but I forgot. A couple of weeks ago, I did that thing you put up, the free download of the Horse Sessions. What band were you in when you recorded that?
That was On a Pale Horse.
Oh, it was.
And that was the beginning of On a Pale Horse. I'm calling it the Horse Sessions because Jeremy, the bass player from On a Pale Horse, who was in Painface also, kind of raised a stink about me putting those up under their name, so I just changed the name. Like, okay, people that are interested in hearing it, they will download it, and if they're interested in knowing what that came from, they'll find out from me or something, I guess.
Right.
And he doesn't have to worry about it. So.
Right. I listened to that. I listened to 4 songs, I think it was. I listened to all those on a bus ride to a marching band show, actually. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Band. I played drums in marching band.
I'm a tuba player.
Oh, fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People always think that I'm a nerd or something, or that I listen to really crap music, but I listen to all sorts of stuff. Band stereotypes. It sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But I think my favorite song on the Horse Sessions is probably Walks with the Dead or something.
Walks with Death, yeah.
Yeah. Salvation was a good one, too. I liked that.
That's the song that started that band. That was the first thing that we really put together, and we really felt the vibe on it. Because we were trying to switch. All that stuff came immediately after Painface. Immediately. We went from playing Painface music, and then all of a sudden, Salvation and Walks with Death, this whole different style. There was quite a learning curve.
Right.
Involved with that, trying to figure out, all right, what part of the box are we aiming for, and what does that part of the box sound like?
Right.
But those were all demos. They weren't intended to be released. In fact, they would have been reworked and then re-recorded at some point, which is part of why Jeremy didn't want them released, because they weren't complete. But people can listen to them, and, they're not perfect, and I would have changed a lot of my vocal stuff around that I was doing, especially on steps. But Walks with Death was then re-released under a different name with Aaron Pelt singing for them. They changed it to Won't Go, but it's the same music.
Right.
With different vocals. At least same written parts, not the same recording itself. But, yeah, that was... Down Again was a song that was the first thing that I really felt comfortable singing cleanly on. And, I was always really nervous to try anything singing clean, because all I've done is screamed and yelled, and nobody really wanted me to do anything else. They just wanted me to scream and yell. Didn't want me to try to sing at all. So when I did that, I was really excited that I pulled it off.
Right.
Like, you?
Yeah. All right, that's all the questions I had about Painface. I forgot to ask you, what else did you have anything else to say about Vice Grip? Or,
I recommend check out the 5-song demo. It's awesome. I mean, the 8-song full length one is great too. But the 5-song demo is really cool, and I believe most of those songs can be heard on my Facebook fan page, my own personal one, Andrew Colsefni one. But that band was one of the funnest ones that I've been in, even with all the ups and downs, because they've all got ups and downs. And the music just had so much soul and so much feel to it. That, and there's something about being in a band where the drummer and the guitar player are brothers, because they just lock in like ridiculous.
Right.
They're always just right together. But actually saw a Dax Riggs concert last night and got to see my guitar player from Vice Grip Throttle, Casey. I haven't seen him for a long time. He just moved back to town, so we might be hooking up and doing some recording.
Did you go talk to him?
Yeah.
Huh. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the guitar player for Vice Grip Throttle was a good guy. He's one of my good friends.
Right.
Casey Dosner.
All right. So, next questions I ask will probably be scattered and random, because I actually, in my script that I'm reading right now, I labeled it under miscellaneous. So.
Well, perfect.
All right. So, first question that I got down, are there any bands you would be willing to tour with if you got the chance?
Are there any bands that I'd be willing to tour with?
Or, like, any band. Like, if you could tour with any band, what would it be?
Oh man, I'd start way low, dude. There aren't many bands that I wouldn't want to tour with.
Right.
You know, it's I just want to play. Because to me, when it comes down to it, it's not who you're jamming with. It's you're jamming.
Yeah, the music.
Period.
Right.
You know, I would go on tour with any band that it made sense to go on tour with. You know, it wouldn't make sense for me to go on tour with Lady Gaga.
Oh, totally. No, that'd be a perfect show, man. That'd be
I wouldn't do, well, no, I guess it just depends. I can never say never anymore.
Right. Next song I got, if you were, would you, first of all, it wouldn't make sense for me to ask if you didn't agree to it, but would you ever tour with Slipknot, like current day? You would?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you,
I would probably not to.
Huh?
However, for me and Painface to go on tour with Slipknot, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Or you mean me in Slipknot?
No, you and Painface.
Painface going on tour with Slipknot would subject me to a lot of haters that just cannot stand me over Corey. So that would be one of them. I'd have to wear my suit of armor to those shows.
Right. But the actual question I written down was, if you were ever able to tour with Slipknot, do you think you would be able to, like, go out and perform some old songs from, like, MFKR or Crows?
I personally and physically am capable of doing those, but I don't know if that would be something
they would do.
They would have to do. I think so. You know.
Right.
So those guys. I know Donnie, when I talked to him back before they went on their last little tour, said that the guys had been asking a lot about me and talking about me. So,
oh, they have.
So, you know, talking about the old days and all the fun, stupid stuff that we did and
right.
whatnot. So, you know, I think that if that ever happened, which I don't really see that happening, but you never know, it's a small world.
Yeah.
That could happen. Maybe we would get up on stage and do something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like, any of the, like, diehard Slipknot fans who, like, went back and found MFKR and all that would probably enjoy it, I would think. Cause,
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, if they didn't, then there would really be no point. Yeah, you know? All right. Good old music. But, so, do you have any advice for anybody who would like to start a band?
Make sure that your schedule's clear.
Yeah.
It's band-related things is artistry mixed with the young and the restless.
Yeah.
Or As the World Turns. It's a soap opera. Whenever you're putting a group of artists together, it requires so many different things for each individual group to work out. First of all, it takes compromise. It takes, don't be offended if you write a riff and then somebody doesn't like it.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing that kills a lot of bands is things like that. And not everybody can take critique of their own art.
Mm-hmm.
And those people end up being solo artists. But yeah, you just got to work at it.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Don't skimp on your recordings. Make sure even if you don't have money, but you want to put together a recording, wait till you have some money to put together a good recording.
Right.
even if it's only 4 songs, you know. Make it sound good. If it sounds like garbage, it's too easy to record something well nowadays.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the recording we did for the basement session.
Right.
Nowadays, it wouldn't be a ghetto box with a cassette tape. It would be a computer set up with a microphone and hooked through a PA system that's already set up. So.
Right. Right. Going to the critiquing thing, like you said, I posted a few videos of myself doing vocals onto YouTube. Like, have you ever heard or have you ever done an inhale scream?
I've tried, and that's the one thing that is so sporadically hit and miss when I'm trying it that I just stop trying it.
Yeah, and plus I have found out recently that you don't want to do it because no matter what critique or technique that you do it in, it kills your throat. Like, yeah,
that's the other thing.
Yeah, and so I've stopped, and I posted up a video a year ago of me doing an inhale scream, and I wasn't very good at it. It was when I was first starting. Like, I couldn't exhale at all. I couldn't, like, do death growls or anything, but I figured I could inhale scream from my cousin. I was just screwing around with my cousin, and he was doing it, so I tried it, and I was able to do it. I posted it up on YouTube, and I've got, like, 70 dislikes, 5 likes, and then hate comments throughout the entire thing. And I'm like, and I have some good comments. I have people that say, hey, I'm not into inhales, but you did a good job. You know, I have some good comments, but I have mostly hate comments. I got into like a 20 comment battle with some guy trying to get him off my back because I just kept saying, I don't care what you say. So I didn't know how to scream yet. This is what I could do. This is what I put on. And then a couple months ago, I did a vocal cover of Slipknot, which it wasn't very good. I didn't have a microphone, so I had to use my crappy laptop one, so it wasn't great, but people have said they liked it. So
that leads me to my next bit of advice. that right there, admitting that something's not very good, but you put it out there publicly, is not what you want to do with your band.
Right.
You want to make sure that the first thing that anybody hears from the band is what you absolutely want to be the best thing for them to hear, because it's such a hard industry to get anybody to pay attention to you in.
Right.
No matter what style you are, that it's really, unless you're just doing it for the fun of it and you don't ever expect to do anything with it, which has never been my thought process. This has been my college, basically. I'm saving up for my future by trying to do music, and it's a losing battle usually.
Right.
But make sure that you have the best possible recording you can before you put anything out there.
Right, right. All right, so do you like, I know you said you're going through some kind of phase where you don't listen to very much harder stuff, but like, do you listen to any of the metalcore type music? Like,
not really. To be honest with you, what I've been listening to a lot of is Down, Clutch. You know, a lot of the stuff I've been listening to, like that in the stoner rock, stoner metal thing, was because of the bands I've been in recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy the groove and everything. I prefer a slow doomy song to a really fast blast beat song.
Like Killers Are Quiet.
Yeah,
like that.
I prefer that over a blazing fast song.
Right.
Now, I've recently, my guitar player Taco has been giving me some new music because I don't keep up with the music scene very much.
I have to ask, did you just call your guitarist a Taco?
That's his nickname, Taco.
That's odd.
You know, all I need. And he was actually the guitar player at Slipknot inquired about joining the band after Josh left while they were recording their self-titled album.
Right.
And he turned him down.
Ooh.
He's a phenomenal guitar player. He doesn't regret it to this day, you know.
Right.
It was never about money for him.
Right, right.
He just didn't. He couldn't see himself putting on the outfits and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was a phenomenal guitar player. He doesn't regret it to this day, you know. It was never about money for him. He just didn't. He couldn't see himself putting on the outfits and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
and whatnot. But anyway, where was I going with that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I've got ADD, dude. I'm all over the map sometimes when I'm talking.
Yeah, just like this interview. So,
dude, yeah.
But actually, that actually brought up a question of guitarist for Slipknot. Are you friends with Mick or Jim in Slipknot, or do you talk to them?
I've known Jim for a lot of years through other bands. I played shows with his band, and over the years when he was in Atomic Opera and so forth. And Mick, yeah, I'm friends with Mick. In fact, I just saw most of his family last night at the Dax Riggs concert. Of his brothers, sister, dad. But I don't get to talk to him very much either because he's, well, like the rest of them, busy, and he's got a million people trying to talk to him.
Right.
But he sent me sent me an email back in the spring about how he's got a new boat and he wants to put it out in the water. We got to go fishing sometime. And,
yeah,
let me know.
All right, well, that's all the questions I got. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Slipknot, Painface, or Vice Grip Throttle, anything?
Well, a lot of exciting things in the works here coming up in the world of Anders Colsefni. The Painface music is going to be intense. I'm really going to push this as hard as I can.
Right.
My musical output over the last 10 years has been kind of slim because of all the fluctuations and changes and things going on and so forth, and not to mention in things that happen in personal life. But I've got myself a group of individuals that can play and are motivated and have the means to take care of business. So we're going to have a really good sounding album that's going to be picked through like crazy before it's released. And then All That Crawls, with my son, it's an entire different genre. It's mellow, It's going to be mostly acoustic. It's going to be a whole different thing, and it's going to be pretty much all sung. There won't be really any screaming and yelling. Well, there'll be screaming. I got to scream on everything, but maybe not so much on the growly and so forth.
Right.
So there's a different flavor there. And by the time this hits the airwaves out there where you are, the Endless video will have been put up on my website at anderscolsefni.com. And, I invite everybody to check it out once it comes out. And we're putting a lot of songs up on my website very soon. We're actually going to be releasing a Body Pit video of one song from a live performance up there pretty shortly, as well as occasionally releasing some Slipknot unreleased stuff up there for free. A lot of people want me to put it all up right now.
Yeah.
Do that. A little bit here, a little bit there.
I second all those people.
Yeah. I want people to listen to the music that I'm writing now, too.
Yeah.
Everything else up that everybody's interested in from the past all at once, then, they may check that all out, and then they might not come back anymore. Maybe they'll be happy with just the old Slipknot stuff, but I want to force feed them Painface because I think everybody needs a little bit of it.
Right. Yeah, later I'm going to have to hit you up on that prosthetics thing, so.
I'll probably be put on my website also.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much all I got. Anything you want to say to all the listeners here at WEEM?
Well, check out the music and keep listening to heavy music and keep an open mind about everything and enjoy the rest of the school year, kids.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for for sitting here for this hour, 30-minute long interview with me. It's really...
No problem, man.
All right.